quality, the breadth of something, the breadth of your knowledge, the breadth of your understanding, the breadth of, okay, you with me on the breadth? What is comprehensive?
All-inclusive.
All-inclusive, all right. Also means understanding. Understanding, okay. The breadth that it's talking about here is simply a foundation. All right, that's what an understanding is. That's what an understanding is. So I want you to see, it says that Nebuchadnezzar, he made this image. It was 60 cubits tall, and it was on a foundation of 6 cubits. Then what did he do with it? It says he set it up. He what? He set it up in the plain of Dura. All right, anybody that's been in this fellowship for the past 7 months, we've been studying the prophetic word that was given to this fellowship. What's the first sentence of that prophetic word? The foundation is set and capable of supporting the weight of what I wish to raise up. I couldn't make this up. This is right here in Daniel here, this is, you see Nebuchadnezzar raising something up on a foundation that he had built. The word we're looking at is the foundation that God has built and what he wants to raise up on it. Okay? So, couldn't make that up. That's good stuff. All right, where did he set it up at? There's some interesting stuff here in the address too, and where this thing was located. Set it up in the plain of Dura. Anybody know where the plain of Dura is? Because I don't either. It just says Babylon. It doesn't. It's not really marked on a map that I've found anywhere. It's not known conclusively where it is. But there is something interesting about Dura, and that's what the word actually means. Dura means to gyrate or to move about in a circle, and it also means a circular dwelling place. Circular dwelling place. If you remember that little handout, the visual aid we gave has a circle on it. Correct? I know what you all are thinking. How does he draw circles that perfectly? Years and years of practice. No. So Dura, the plain of Dura means a circular dwelling place. All right, and we're going to get to this here circle in a minute because it ties right in with what we're actually going to look at here later on. All right, what's the second part of the address? The province of Babylon. The province of Babylon. What's a province? We're going to do some. A state, a what? An area with parameters, right? An area. It also lists realm. Realm. Write that down. Realm is a good thing to remember. Or sphere. Realm or sphere. Okay. So he put this thing up in the province of Babylon, in the realm of Babylon. Now, what about realms? I'm going to talk about realms for just a second because there's some realms that we need to understand that are in us. We have, I know there's other here, but we have 2 realms of consciousness, all right, that are built into us, right? Waking and dreaming, conscious or subconscious, natural or spiritual, however you want to label those. We have 2 realms of consciousness that we walk in every day, okay? When we go to sleep at night, we cross over the threshold from our conscious mind or our conscious realm into the subconscious realm. Okay? We come over from the natural into the spiritual, if you will, if you want to say it that way. So we cross over the threshold into another consciousness. If you're awake during the day and you're just sitting around crossing over that line, what do we call that? Daydreaming. Daydreaming. Okay? It's called daydreaming. All right. What was Abraham doing in the threshold of his tent? When the angel of the Lord walked out with his 2 companions, walked straight out of his subconscious into his conscious, straight out of the spiritual into the natural. He was sitting on the threshold, which we call the liman, sitting on the threshold. We won't go there, John. He was sitting on the threshold between his conscious and his subconscious. Okay? He was daydreaming. He was daydreaming. So remember, we have 2 realms that are active in us, conscious and subconscious. All right. All right. We have a mind. Remember, we're back to our mind again, the womb. Our mind that can ascend from the consciousness to the subconscious, from the natural to the spiritual. To be absent from the body is to be in the presence of the Lord. Okay? So we can ascend with our mind, with our spirit, if you will, into the presence of God. Okay? Everybody with me? Nobody want to shoot me or anything yet? All right. I haven't seen any rotten vegetables or anything thrown this way. All right. He did it in the realm or the province of Babylon. Okay. And what else is interesting about this address? You were talking about it a minute ago. Where was Nebuchadnezzar's temple of his god? It was in Babylon, but there was a specific place. It's back in chapter 1, but it was in Shinar, the land of Shinar. What's significant about the land of Shinar? You got to know this, huh? Nothing? What's significant about the land of Shinar? Huh? A whole lot significant about the land of Shinar. Anybody? What else happened in that place in Shinar after the great flood? Tower of Babel. That was in the plain of Shinar, in the same location, the same realm that we're talking about here, where Nebuchadnezzar raised his image up. It's the same realm, the same area that the Tower of Babel was raised. Okay, that's where the whole place over there gets its name, Babylon. Tower of Babel. Okay. All right, guys, still with me? Haven't lost you yet? Good. Good. Nobody's sleeping. So you have all this stuff going on in the same area, the same realm, the same location over here, the same general area. All right. So you see where the Tower of Babel, you see it repeating itself here with Nebuchadnezzar. You see something raised up to exalt itself above the throne of God, to exalt itself to the level of God. That's what the Tower of Babel was all about. Come on. They were all, back then it was all one people, one nation, one language. All right, remember that because you're going to see that again in a minute. One people, one nation, one language. All right? And they all came to this one location in Shinar. And they all got together and said, let's all work together here. Let's make bricks and we'll burn them. And we'll build a tower that'll that'll reach all the way to the heavens. It goes all the way back to the deception in the Garden of Eden. On Sundays we've been teaching on the do not be deceived in Galatians chapter 6. It goes all the way back to that same deception. You can be like God. You can be like God. Tower of Babel, we're going to build us a tower all the way up here and we'll be like God. We'll be on the same level He is. Nebuchadnezzar raising an image up and calling people to worship it. I'll be like God. I can be like God. Same deception. Same location, same deception. All right? Same thing trying to be raised up here. Okay, you see the significance of that and the correlation of that? All right? So, another interesting thing, you know what the historians say was on the top of the Tower of Babel? Capstone of quartz. Is that what you said? Okay. Some of the historians say the Babylonian history says that there was an altar to the god Baal. Baal. All right. Altar to the god Baal. Who was Nebuchadnezzar's god? Baal. Baal. Same thing. It's the same place, same God, same thing going on, same deception, same thing being raised up here. I'm going to exalt myself to the level of God. All right? So, let's move on to verse 2 now. Maybe we got a little bit of a...
Nebuchadnezzar had 5 generals with the name Belshazzar.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what Daniel's name was, Belteshazzar, or something along those lines. Probably butchered that, but yeah, Belteshazzar. Yeah. But yeah, they were named after his God, right? All right, verse 2. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king sent together the princes, the governors, and the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces to come to the dedication of the image which Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. And you're going to see this over and over and over and over. It's going to say the image that Nebuchadnezzar the king set up. You see it from verse 1, and you're going to see it over and over and over and over, the image that Nebuchadnezzar the king set up. So don't forget that Nebuchadnezzar set this thing up. All right? Verse 3, then the princes, the governors, and the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces were gathered together unto the dedication of the image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. And they stood before the image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. Oh, back to back in that one verse. Nebuchadnezzar set this thing up. Okay, you guys remember that. Don't forget that. Don't forget that. Okay. Verse 4. Then an herald cried aloud. Come on. I want you to see this on what's going on here. I want you to see this as religion here, okay? I want to see this as religion. I'm not going to bash religion, but I just want you to see, a herald cried aloud. Come on, it kind of came over the PA system of the day, if you will, the loudspeaker, if you will, of the day, that to you it is commanded, O people, nations, and languages. So there's your people, nation, and languages again. The people, nation, and languages. That's what God came down and broke up and separated back at the Tower of Babel, was the people, the nations, and the languages. The people, the nation, and the languages. All right? So you see him bringing them back together again and commanding them. Commanding them. Verse 5, that at what time you hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, you fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. So when you hear the call to worship, I expect you to be here. I expect you to fall down and worship just like I've told you that you need to do when I tell you to do it. All right? You come when I call you to worship, and you worship the way I told you to. Okay? That's what he's saying. That's what religion says to us a lot of times. You're a member in good standing here. I expect you to be here every time the doors are open. Huh? I know I've heard that before. Is anybody else? Yeah. We expect you to be here. You're a pillar of this establishment here. We need you here every time the doors are open. All right? So Nebuchadnezzar is commanding these people to come and worship at his religion. All right? Verse 6, and whoso falleth not down and worshipeth shall the same hour be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. You can either come and worship the way I tell you to, or you're going to burn in hell. Come on. I've heard that threat too, So I've heard that threat used too. You either come and worship like we do, or you're going to burn in hell, because we've got it right. Everybody else is wrong. Here's where you need to be. This is what you need to be doing. But if you don't fall down and worship when you hear the sound, you're going to be thrown into a burning fiery furnace. That was the threat that he made to them. Okay. Therefore, at that time, when all the people heard the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and all kinds of music, all the people, the nations, and the languages, there it is again, they fell down and worshiped the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. Again. Again. So all these people were gathered together under the rulership of the Nebuchadnezzar the king that set this image up, in case you forgot. They came together when they heard the sound. They fell down and worshiped just like they were supposed to. Come on, they were following the orders. They were following the instruction, thinking they were doing the right thing, right? Anybody else been caught up in that before? Thinking you're doing the right thing? Yeah. So they heard the sound, and all the people fell down and worshiped just like they were commanded to. Okay? Now, here we go. Wherefore, at that time, certain Chaldeans came near and accused the Jews. Somebody tell me who the Chaldeans were, what they were known for. Not you, Jack. Anybody know what the Chaldeans did? What they were? What? No? No, they were astrologers. Astrologers. Historians also say at the top of the Tower of Babylon, along with the altar to the god Baal, were the 12 signs of the zodiac.